Hey, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a different project just because we were thinking about it and I wanted to get Adzys models and texture work stuff implemented into the Footsteps patch because the Footsteps patch adds like a bunch of like really nice quality of life stuff like anti-aliasing. Plus, this gives me a good reason to go back and essentially redo and fix all the mistakes I had done when I first started working on this texture pack. So when I first started, I didn't know too much. Like I started with texture packs. Like there wasn't like much of like the actual in-game stuff I knew about or like the much of like the level editor itself, game configuration. So I kind of learned piecemealing it by doing the texture packs. I didn't at the very beginning, um, in the very first beginning of the texture packs, I didn't know you could shade with the Vertice shader so easily, and I didn't know like just a bunch of stuff. Like I replaced textures that I found out later on that can just you can just add them to the end of the list, and it's just a bunch of spaghetti coated textures essentially. But it was a really good first attempt. Like this was a solid first attempt that I had. I also brewed me a nice tea today. So I got that. So hopefully this will be a nice, smooth little stream. I have played Brandon's mod. Hey, that's awesome to hear, buddy. So obviously the sniper's the best one I think I've made. It's so nice. It stands out. So I figured I'd start off with that. Um, Now with this, there is quite a bit of textures and stuff added that like I am just going to straight up replace instead of just adding it to the end of the list. And it'll be kind of stuff like the flyers and other stuff like that. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the list and export these models. So there's the original hand I had made for Adzys. I'd actually made most of the texture work myself. This was a pain because I did not know that like 64 by 64 textures needed to be grayscaled. And also if you had a 64 by 64 texture, it would actually crash the game whenever you load the menu. So these are 64 by 64 that I crushed down to 32. I do not, unfortunately, Brandon. So first thing I'll do is I'm just going to export all this. I'm just going to take the entire template. That way I don't have to worry about anything. So I already made a whole thing. So there's my fists. Move on to the next one, the hunting knives. Look at those beauties. They were really fun. So I'll export these. Export to there. Throwing knives, same thing. This ended up being one of my favorite models because I got to redesign the textures a lot throughout my time working on this mod. This is probably one that I came back to the most. There's the PP7. There's a silencer. Export, export, export. Oops, wrong thing. Export model template. Template essentially just takes most of the stuff like the stats and everything like that and just easily ports it over. There's nothing changed in his actual stats, and I'll even show it off and everything. But it's still nice just in case there's like something that goes wrong with like importing the raw file. Maybe like these don't properly line up. So it's usually just easier to do the whole template bin. Export that. There's the shotgun fun run shotgun. That putrid little thing. Oops, not search. That shotgun, fun fact, Adzys did the stream, and I think it took like, I think his stream was like 4 hours or something like that. 4 to 8 hours, and it took me equally as long to figure out how to model that shotgun. Now with all of my knowledge, I could easily do it, but at the time I just could not grasp out how they had the shotgun like textured modeled. So that shotgun fought both me and Adzys at the same time. There's the sniper model. There's the Magnum. This originally was going to be used for a big multiplayer thing that we may do in the future, but at the moment, this is kind of like the leftover piece of it. With how easy Gopher is to set up, I wouldn't mind maybe doing a little bit more on that and maybe making it accessible for more people. It should be Boris tier. I think Boris is better than that shotgun. Silver PP7. It's pretty nice. Gold PP7. Export. Now this is my first time fully just moving and like exporting everything to put onto a new file, so there may be issues that I'm not prepared for. So that'll be a little bit something to deal with when the time comes, if there is any issues. If there is, it'll be a new learning experience. I'm always down to learn something new with this editor. The good old red rocket. The grenades, even the grenades had changed color, so they're that nice red. These were a pain to texture. You can see in this, these are all individual little shading like vertices. Also, fun fact, the watch menu icon is at the bottom of the grenade. Let's export that. It's funny though, because I spent so much time in this and I didn't even process that this is only seen in the menu. You only ever see it in the menu. The mines are the same, because I feel like the mines are important to have looking the same due to like mission objectives and such like that. There's the Taser Boy, which is based off of Adzys' original purple controller. Maybe I'll get around to updating that at some point in the future too. So export that. And for all the rest of this, I'm pretty sure I didn't edit any of the actual things in here. I'll have to check the textures. Guards, I also didn't change around. The things I did change, though, is the objects. So, let me say, just like, these. So, I did change these little object models, too, to reflect. So, I'll also be exporting them. I'll probably be exporting them to a different folder. That way, I'm not, like, mixing them up. Then we start with the AK. AK looks pretty much the same here. I actually think I don't need to change the AK. Grenade launcher seems the same. The knives are the same. I'm pretty sure it's just the weapons that only Bond has, like the PP7 and the unused shotgun. If I recall, because I remember the thing I wanted was like nobody else has Adzys weapon skins. That's like his weapon skins. So I even reflected it in the game too. So I would just do object template. That. It's looking nice. Shotgun, export the shotgun. Maybe at some point I'll also go back and redo the textures here. But at the moment, it's just I want to get the stuff imported over. There's the grenades. That's the one you see in game. So, I'm exporting that. That's PP7 silenced. DD44, I believe, has also been changed, so export that. Golden gun. Yeah, golden gun's the only weapon that he picks up. So there we go. What else is there? Nope, the sniper rifle. Export model template. Now, in the future, I may add, like, the weapons look like that in the object models, too. But, that's for another day. At the moment, I think that's everything I can think of. I'm going to load up Goldeneye real quick. And I'm just going to look around inside that mod. Let's see. Here we go. I won't full screen it just because I'm only going to be coming in here to kind of like check this out. So I did edit this file folder. So that is an object I will pull. So that would be the wallet. There's that mess of a menu right there. So I'll be exporting that. Got that exported. Pull out the game. I have not done any new pictures on Depot, though I have been starting to take some. I just haven't uploaded them yet. So the text has been done, so I do got to port the text over too. I think it's about 5 things of text. So I got that to export over. I got skyboxes to import over, which that's pretty easy. I'll just copy and paste them. Let's see, is there anything else? Also, let me turn down this music. There we go. I do know, hey, 6490, good to see you. I hope you've been doing well. So Brandon, so what I did is very carefully, I took apart the model. So you see this model? I essentially hid all of these little objects around, and then I colored this in red. I can even show you a little bit later on, if I get to doing that. But yeah, I just changed that around, so I got that looking nice. Hey, that's good to hear. So what I'm doing is I'm taking Adzys' old texture pack that I had made for him, and I'm essentially modernizing it to like a less spaghetti coated version. So I'm giving it the footsteps patch. I'm fixing up a lot of mistakes I made when I first started like modding, and I just wanted to I wanted to do a little stream where it's like I kind of like show off like, hey, here's the mistakes I made when I first started off. My stuff was not perfect. Here's the things that I've learned over time. Here's like little hints and tricks I would have. Yeah, we could probably do that, Brandon, at some point. So right now I'm kind of like, I'm trying to remember everything that I have in here. So I have the text edited. I've got multiple stuff edited. Bond is still Bond because Adzys just has a program that lets him play as his model. So that's the same. Also, I am playing on the new 8-bit though N64 controller. So far, I really like it. I'm really good at lining shots up with aiming, but my problem is it's just a little too fast with turning. I think that's just a me problem. I was using a really terrible N64 controller that I had gotten as a joke years ago, and I just didn't have anything that had like a proper joystick to use. So I was using that for a while. So like its sensitivity is like 5,000. So I had it like really reduced. So now I'm trying to get used to the faster sensitivity again. But this thing's nice. Genuinely, if it's on sale, I recommend it. This thing is so good. Does it replace the N64 controller? No. But if you want a controller that's just like it works right out the box, the joysticks are nice, or joystick, and like it's comfortable, I highly recommend it. Plus it was like 30 bucks. 30 USD. Hey, you got the same controller. Nice. Because I have my steel bowl and that thing's nice. Um I think I still need to go and fix like one thing about it. It kind of makes like a little clang if I move slowly. Like not a like a damaging clang, but kind of just like it's not fully all the way in. But I got this thing. I got it on sale. Scott got it, and Scott's skills had like flown through the roof with this thing. Like it's genuinely impressive. Like how good his aim and Aries' aim has gotten with it. So I was like, you know what? I'll get it. Okay, so it's not just me. Like the sensitivity's like really strong, right? Like I can flick back and forth, just kind of like flicking my thumbs. Like it just kind of like 0 to 100s. Amazing for aiming. Not my favorite for moving. I have the sensitivity on 1964 currently set for 65%. But I've also been using Gopher to test stuff with too. And then I also have my actual N64 that has a blue retro installed on it. So, um, I can test it that way too. But going through the campaign, there's not too many things changed in the campaign itself. How I wanted to have this campaign or how this texture mod done is I wanted to leave it base game. That way, if Adzys ever playing like a time attack against somebody or just playing casually, there's nothing actually changed in this besides like some textures. And I even made sure to kind of have textures in the same range as the original, so it won't like lag the game in any sort of way. There's some textures. There's some textures that got a little bit like higher quality, but I wanted to make sure that it could like actually run properly. I saw that. It looked like y'all had like a lot of fun. I was popping in and out. I was playing some games with friends. I'm glad that you're able to get like all that AQZ and everything set up. I know it was a pain for me the first time. I had like the slow blink, like I'm not processing any of this shit when I first had help setting it up. But AQZ is genuinely impressive. It's impressive how it like splits the lag, and like I think me and Adzzy get like lag 5, lag 6, I think, and we're on the complete opposite side of the world. Genuinely amazing. As you can kind of see here, everything's roughly the same. I do remember some of the things that have been changed. Statue has a new texture in it. Bunker 2 has custom screens on the computers. Depot has a lot of custom textures in it. Streets also has custom textures in it. Archives has custom textures in it. Jungle. This is specifically the Jungle patch 2, which I'm just going to use as Adzy's main one because it actually doesn't change up too much. what the jungle patch is, it's like all it is it changes the jungle music to like the original beta one, and then Surface has a different skybox. So it's got this kind of skybox to it. Oh yeah, it will take you a while. It took me a hot minute. I am like I've gotten used to it now that I've played like a ton, but like I could not grasp it at first. So it was like that little bit of input lag would throw me off so much. I'm just grabbing a drink of my tea real quick. And Jungle as well has the original Jungle music. I think what I may do too is I may add crickets to the background sound. I think that would be pretty cool to have. So that's definitely going to be one change I do today if I remember it. But that's essentially what the Jungle Patch version of his mod was compared to the base game. Oh, for sure 6490. We'd love to play with you. I've actually like been a little bit behind. I got a new PC, which is why I've been able to stream, as I mentioned before. And like for a hot minute, I just did not have AQZ. I didn't have XBLA set up. I didn't have like the Radman set up. So I've been slowly porting all the stuff over from my old computer, which is behind me, onto this one. That way I could actually play with everyone. Uh, like we plan on doing so much more multiplayer stuff now that Adzys got his internet, and now that I'm about to have a whole streaming room. Because right now I'm kind of a little limited on when I can stream. Usually, if I get off work early, like if we have like a short day, and there's no trucks or anything that need brought in, um, so it's like it's cool. I got a little bit of time. I got some fun time to kind of like sit and do stuff. But once that's in, I'm gonna be pretty much streaming whenever I'm available, whenever I want to. I want to try to get it a lot more consistent, get some multiplayer matches in. What I really want to do is I want to play a lot of net play stuff on Gopher. It doesn't even have to be Goldeneye. I really want people to see how like genuinely amazing Gopher is. It's not going to be like smooth 60 FPS like AQZ. AQZ is its own amazing thing, but Gopher's like just an amazing like casual net play experience that barely has like any lag. So I think that's everything I have in this. If I go into, I'm gonna put cheats on. If I go into this, I'll show off some of the stuff that I do have in here that I need to custom replace the textures themselves and not add them. Oop, did I get the key? There we go. So if I go into here, so I've replaced all of like the little propaganda photos with photos of Adzys. These were a lot of fun. I made all these. Also, fun fact: this little photo is one of the first things I actually made for Adzys. Um, it was I made a few BRB screens for Adzys, which was just like Surface One and the guards were walking around and stuff like that. And that's where like the videos came from, whereas like the guards were sitting like idle in Surface was from me, until he ended up doing that really cool um like cutscene one. But that was I think that was the first thing I ever made for him pretty much, besides just like getting screenshots and stuff, and like finishing up the Perfect Dark tier list. Because that's actually how I met Adzys. I'd followed him since like for a long time, Um, but like, I tune in, watch his videos, and then kind of like be like, oh, it's really cool. And then one day I was sitting there, I was like, ooh, new video dropped. And I was sitting there, like I had my legs propped up on my table, and I was watching it, and I suddenly saw my tier list appear, and I did like the point at the screen almost. I was like, oh, it's like, wait a minute. It's like I'm not used to somebody like actually using stuff I made. So I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, hey, I really appreciate that. Like you like this. I was like, I didn't expect anyone to actually use this thing. I didn't actually have it fully completed. I think it was missing some proximity mines and stuff. So I went and I fixed that up. Um, but that's essentially how I first met Adzzy and we first started talking. Ooh, let's see. Do some Mario Golf 64 and AQZ. Huh. Okay. AQZ is very new to me. So it's like I only know it through like Goldeneye. I know Perfect Dark doesn't work with it, but I know there's like a lot of games I think that works with it. I think we were playing Smash 64 actually through AQZ at some point, and it was like it was pretty solid. Like I was quite impressed. Came across him 2 years ago. I think he mentioned like you were one of the first people that like he had actually like met. It was like I've I've been more a part of the Perfect Dark community for years. But I was kind of like very much just lurking. Essentially I I just like maybe make something, I'd work on a little bit of something, or I'd speed run. I'd pop in, be like, "Hey, what's poppin', Jimbo?" and then like pop back out. Like I wasn't really ever connected to the community like close. And then it was like after I met Adzzy is when I started like meeting everyone else. I met you. I met like Scott. I got to talk to like Graz, everything like that. It's been a really cool time. I've really enjoyed my time like making friends and like being able to like be a part of a community because I haven't really done like community stuff in like a long time. So let's see, what else do I gotta pull? I'll go into the images afterwards. I'm pretty sure. Oh, right. The tank has been edited and the vehicles have been edited. So let's see, Jeep. Yep, Jeep's been edited. Jeep's also upside down for some reason. I really like how this Jeep turned out. I love the fact that like his tier list has like brought like so many people together. It's like that's exactly like yeah, it's like I like we talked like I always felt bad too cuz like I definitely know what it's like to have like a bunch of people DMing you, especially if you're a content creator. So I was like always felt bad about like reaching out and stuff, and it was like it went from that to now like we talk all the time and chat, and like we've really grown like a good connection through just like all this. So export this tank. Oh, what else? There may be something else that I have in here too that I've edited. Also, let me know if my audio settings are too low. Let me know if the music's too loud. And then I'll also show some of the big mistakes I made in this mod too. There's a lot of cleaning up I did in this, but it's like it's almost like bandages instead of like proper like fixing. Hey, I'm glad to hear. How do you like the new overlay I did? I did a few. I'm actually gonna show them off. I did one for Perfect Dark and I did one for Goldeneye. The Goldeneye one I have implemented currently is a beta version that I was using just to kind of like test. So let me pop that up. There we go. I don't have anything really implemented for that yet, but I was using that to kind of like find a good balance on like what I want to do. So I got one for Perfect Dark, I got one for Goldeneye, I made one for Doom. I have a tube TV one that I like to use for a lot of my 4x3 games. So I've been I've been making so many of these and thumbnails and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I should actually start using these. Something cool too is I have the camera currently closed on this, so it won't appear. But whenever I have my camera on, my the light on the top of this actually turns on. So like you can see where the camera would normally be, and then when the camera's turned off, it'll go back to red. But I really have a blast working on like a bunch of fun like little things like that. Which is why I get so entranced in doing like all these texture packs and little mods and stuff like that. I think most of this should be the same. But no, I got so much stuff planned for streaming and content creation stuff. I'm so excited to finally be able to do. There's the weapon models, don't need them. Yeah, like all this should be actually finished. So, now that I have that done, I'm going to pull that down. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to open up the image tools. So, this is where I'll be able to show off more of the messy stuff that I had made during this. At the time, I didn't know that ending the images to the end of a ROM was like a thing. So, despite it being right here, I was afraid of touching any of these icons and stuff. So, I was just replacing textures. Like you can see here, the textures replaced with that. Kind of stuff I just didn't understand. Dude, I'm so excited with the Doom stuff. I need to get back to it. I was doing some small mods. Because like I like to do like little palette cleansers because it gives me some more time to think on what I want to do. So I've worked on 3 mods in the meantime. Oh, technically 4, but the 4th one needs a little bit more work. And then I've implemented stuff that I've learned from that back into the Doom mod, and I'll show that off a bit too. But I'm so excited for that to release. So let's see what textures I have a good example of. Like these, obviously I pulled all of these, so because it's so much easier just to pull these. However, what I didn't know at the time is if you click on this and you go down to edit palette, you can turn them transparent. In the mod, in this mod here, I'll show it off. In Depot, there was so much like extra stuff popping in on this. Like you see how like this has like all this like funky lookingness. I didn't know that you could just go in and add like transparency to it. So I got his old stickers I made for him. In here, there's a sticker. It's so funny too, cause it's like there's outdated stuff for the time, but it's still still relevant. I think the only relevant or the only joke thing that not aged, but like kind of fell out of like the joke sphere is the Bond is here. But it's funny that like the slop still gets brought up a lot. Surface One, barbecue bacon burgers. So these textures here, I'll actually be exporting out of this, so I can import it into the Footsteps patch version. That one goes hard. So I got that. Pause this. So I'll go into here, save bitmaps. I'm just gonna make another new folder. Textures. Thankfully, these should be just named the exact texture that is used in game. Saves so much time for me. Oh, for sure. That's a good one. Hey, I actually got some space. I got some space. I got this one. I got that. I have this one right here, and then down further, there's even more graffiti text. I could absolutely put that. So I get that. Save bitmap. Save bitmap. And then I'll actually go through and I'll properly transparent all of these too, so they actually look really nice. Bond is here. I could even replace the penetration one with the Bond is here. Save bitmap. But these were a lot of fun. These, I didn't tell him that I was working on at the time. At the time, he thought I was only working on the guns. And then, like, the next update I sent him had, like, all this stuff added. It had this. It had the stuff in archives. I think I spent, like, 2 days making all of this. Absolutely. Oops. Oh, Borst here already here? Oh, it is. There's some really good ones that can be added. Let's see. Now I'm looking for the monitors. The monitors I also changed. It would be easier just for me to replace the textures in the Footsteps patch than make new ones. So I have this. I have the badass skull. This one's always been a really funny one. I have the map of Australia. And then I have Graz smoking. I got Adzys little photo here. I don't even know exactly where this is used. I just made it just in case. There's Adzys little glasses. Fun fact about Adzys model in particular, it was so last minute made that they didn't quality assurance it. The foot model is actually broken. Like, it actually is clipping off of the model. And if you try to port or render the hat, like the little brim on the hat, it just does not appear. Also, here's some more text. I could absolutely do the penetration one here. That'd be a good one for that. That appears in Streets as well, so it appears both in Streets and Depot. There's the Adzys smoking, so I'll get that. Also, something I didn't know as well is you can actually force it to crunch down the 16-bit, which is really cool. Because at the time, like this in particular uses way more colors than base GE essentially allows. I didn't know that you could go in and edit the color palette, but you have to do it on like grayscale stuff. So I could actually export this, decrease it to 16, and then re-import it as a grayscale that way. Take this texture out. Save this. I'm pretty sure this is a new texture that I had made. And then I also have all the characters smoking. I may not need to do all of them today, but at least it'd be like a good start to get some of that so I can remember. Yeah, like these guys, they don't originally smoke, but that was one of the first mods I actually completed. I don't know if I've ever released it, but I just did a dumb little menu pack where it's like Smokers Royale and all the characters are just smoking. And then the folder is actually like colored to look like a cigar box. Let me see if I actually have that on hand. Let's see. Desktop. Goldeneye mods. Let's see. I think this should be it. Yep, there it is. I made it look like a cigar box, and then every single character smokes. Let me. Will it let me pretend I have two controllers plugged in? There we go. So I got every single one of these characters smoking. That Jaws one goes hard too. I think there's still stickers in Adzys server as well. And then even the mystery character smokes. I'd love to do something more with this little joke mod at some point. Maybe I'll release it on like ModDB or something, just to be like, hey, look, here's a dumb little fun thing that people can have. So that was technically my first completed project. I think it was. It was one of them. Let me turn this back on. Let me skip that song. There we go. So like I spent like a whole day doing it. It was so much fun. Let's see, what else? What else has been done that I need to export over? Oh, there we go. Save these. For my overclock, let me see. I have it set for 9 times for 1964. I don't ever really see too many issues with it, thankfully. I know some people put it on like max, but I've always had better luck with 9. I think I kept mine at 9 because when I used to play Perfect Dark, on my old college laptop, that thing chugged so hard if I tried to put it up high. So I always left it either like stock or like low. I'm pretty sure I could probably have it at 18 times now, but I still have always stuck with 9. Let's see, do I have any other images? Something I used to do with, oh, there's one. With Adzys texture pack 2 is, I used to make the mods alongside it. So what I would do is I would make the mod for Adsy, like let's say the Clobinator, and I would do it through this texture pack. And then later on, when I was ready to release it to the public, I would recreate the entire mod from scratch, and then have like stuff updated. So it was like Adsy got to like preview the idea before others, and like got to see what worked, what didn't work, stuff like that. And then I can't remember exactly which was the last one I did. I think it was one in the chamber before I ended up like having where the texture pack didn't get worked alongside the mods. Mainly because I started doing textures for the specific mods too. So like the one in the chamber revolver, it's ported over from I think Johnny Thunder, and then I retextured it. I gave it like a darker design to it, and then depending on who got access to it, they had a custom version of the revolver. Oh, here's a texture that needs to be taken. I've noticed, I think Adsy had that issue too, where it's like the explosions just absolutely make the game like crawl to a halt. I just know it seems like N64 emulators hate any sort of explosion textures whatsoever. Mine will go back and forth whether it has explosion effects or not. Oh, here's one. Save bitmap. And save bitmap. There we go. Mine will go back and forth sometimes on if it lags and like crawls to a halt. And then sometimes it's completely fine. I think for me, if it doesn't freeze, it always likes to freeze when I try to change the plugins. That's my big issue. There we go. Yeah, so I have the 2021 build, and I've kind of stuck with that. Sometimes what I do is I will go down to, I think, the lowest Jabba 1.5 or 1.5.2, because sometimes it has fun extra little settings that Glide doesn't have. But though that one chugs. Let me see. So it's a Glide final. Let's see. I may not have that in this one. I also, instead of pulling new branches of it, I've been using this one. I've been using this specific emulator between like my other computers. Ooh, yeah, absolutely. I'd appreciate that. I definitely should get it like updated and stuff like that too. Cause like I'm very behind. I have this bad luck of every time I update something, something goes wrong. So I always should stick to a build that I know works. Even though I shouldn't. I should just bite the bullet and get like the updates and stuff. But I've had so many times. Like I had a really bad Windows update one time where it like bricked my computer. And I was like, never again. Alright, so is there any more textures I have that can be swapped out? I think for the most part that's everything. If I'm missing something, I think the template's just gonna upload it. At least I'm pretty sure the template will do that. So I will exit out of this, and I'll exit out of this. I'm going to attempt to try to go into the model editor now. I'm going to import a gun, see how it works. Oh, okay. Oh, you start with the PP7 silence, so I'll just do that. Footsteps patch, import model template, Adzys reworks, templates. Oh right, I gotta actually. There's one more texture I gotta do. It's the camera lens. That would make sense. Let's see, golden gun. Where is it? PP7 silence. Let's see, template. Additional data. Yes, import that over. Since it's got new textures, I'm gonna have to save. So I'm just gonna save it like that. There we go. Perfect. Brought the textures right over. Didn't have to worry about anything. Now I'm just going to inject it into this. I'm not going to bother renaming them because I know I'm going to have to save a lot doing this. Because every time you import a template with custom textures, it makes you save. So, additional data. That already has the same texture, so I don't got to worry about that. Checked in the ROM. And then sometimes you can just do funky stuff like that. So, imported it in. Inject. There we go. That should be it. Edit. Yep, perfect. DD44. Going to add it here. Import model template. The TT33. Bring that in. So it's going to ask to save again. I'm just going to overwrite this save. There we go. Got his model in here. Looking nice, looking nice. I am going to change this at one point. So I think I'm actually going to replace his golden PP7s with the golden DD44 I did for the Golden Knives Challenge. Because he really liked that. So that's looking nice. Save this. If everything worked out, the model should still be here when it updates. Yep, perfect. Go in here, go up here. Beautiful. Not beautiful. I messed up. There we go. That's also why I love having the template. I'll always go for doing the model template itself instead of just the raw file. Because if I had done the raw file, let me. There we go. Just accepted it. I appreciate you for that, man. If I would just to export it or import the raw file, I would have messed this entire model up and I would have had to restart. because the data for like where the flash is and everything like that wouldn't have been properly aligned to the model. But since I have that, it's completely fixed now. So, got that. Clob's next. Import. Let's see. Scorpion. Import extra data. Is it going to be funky with me? Nope. Perfect. There's still some weapons I really want to go back through and work on. I'm still not happy with how the M16 looks. The M16's really funky when it comes to trying to make custom stuff for it. Oh, full screen this. So like I've been back and forth for that for a long time. Oh, I love the PP7 model. It used to not be shiny at all. I made it look shiny by shading it. And then I discovered that you could just make any model have it shady. I don't have the hand on each weapon, but I do have them on all of like the normal ones that the hands normally appear on. But I did actually have to go and custom rig the textures to every single model. So like all of this I handmade myself. These are all made textures by me. And then I went through and I had to reshade each version of this hand. Oops. So like you can see it's a little different here. It's a little shaded different. There's this little interesting visual issue. See this? It kind of has like a skin tone to it. I don't know why. It's just something to do with this model. Despite it being grayscale and there being no colored verti shading on this whatsoever, it still has a tan look to it. Just kind of funny. What's also funny too is I spent a long time shading this to look properly. And then like I was like, because when I play 1964, my FOV is kind of out like this, but when Adzys plays, his FOV is just like the gun. So it was really funny that I was like, I spent so much time doing all of that, and it was like, you never see it. I know this is one of everyone's fan favorite weapon redesign. This is the one where it was like, Adzys was really like, oh my god, this mod's actually gonna be really sick. So I think what's it called normally, like the AK? Thank you, buddy. MP5K, shotgun. Where is this lad hiding from me? I did export it, I think. If not, I'll just come back to it. It's not like I'm in a rush. I think I actually... maybe I didn't actually export it. Oh, move on to the next one. Phantom. Phantom turned out really sick. Oh, what'd I do? Oops. I had to add the hand model for each weapon to have a custom hand model show. So what I did is I just essentially removed the original textures for the hand model, and I went into my art editor app, and I had completely made new textures. Because at the time, I also didn't really understand how to do any of the modeling stuff. So, it's kind of like I winged how I did it. Because I think you actually have to export the weapon model and then put the hand in through like Blender or something, and then import it back in. Okay, so this is the Phantom. So what's it? It's named like the Spectre or something like that, right? Rocket launcher, M16, laser. Not the Scorpion. It may turn out that I also didn't do this one. Scorpion, Uzi. Okay, I just skipped right through it, so I go to the Uzi. I keep messing up. I'm so used to editing through that. Okay. Import model template. M16. There we go. It'll ask to save because this is all entirely new texture I worked on for this. Oh yeah, perhaps. It probably after like me and Merc finish our little collab. We're working on something big together. But I'd definitely be down to like try to do collab stuff. The M16, I'm still not fully sure what I want to do with it. I like it, but I think it needs more. I think it just needs something more. It's just a little basic. Just fine, not every weapon needs to be big and like bold, but it definitely just feels like the weakest of the ones I've made. So I'll inject this. Through RCP90. Keep doing it. Alright, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Import model template. FMP90. Custom textures. Yep. The RCP90 I originally wasn't a fan of when I was making it. I tried something funky, it didn't work out, and then I tried it this way and it looks so much better. Something originally that I didn't know either is you cannot inject a 1x1 pixel into the editor. It completely breaks the textures of whatever model that you put it on in Goldeneye, which is interesting because the game has 1x1 textures in it. Like half of the PP7 is a 1x1 texture. Every single thing, you won't see it in this because I've updated it so they don't, but every single weapon or model that's like clear, that's like see-through in this, is because it's a 1x1 texture, and for some reason the editor just cannot process it. Definitely on the next weapon, I should be able to show it, because it's like, what, the shotgun? Nah, not the shotgun really, but let's see, import model, shotgun. There we go. There's the shotgun, fun run shotgun. I wanted to add extra textures. It was too much of a pain. I called it a day. I appreciate you for that, 6490. I did it again. No! Gotta like duct tape that button. Can't use it. So auto shotgun, that in, basic. It looks really nice. I just removed some of the shading off the thing and then turned it red. I think that was more than enough. Like that looks beautiful. So inject into ROM. Lots of saving. Tons and tons of saving. Always make sure you double save just to be sure. Because there'll be times where I'll do it and I'll save and it doesn't do anything. Now this beauty right here. I'm actually going to go into the visual editor for this. I love what I did with this model. So it's like you got the sniper rifle. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful as is. Wonderful looking gun. My favorite little joke is when you go into the Vertice menu, not that, Vertice coloring menu, it kind of looks like you just like peeled a crab, because you'll start doing it and it'll be like, it removes all that like extra coloring to it. It just looks like you just like peeled a shrimp. It's like you just made the sniper rifle naked. Just really funny to me. I love that. It's one of the few weapons in the game that actually has like custom colored Vertice shading and it's not just like black and white. It just looks like you peeled a shrimp. The sniper rifle's naked now. So I took that and I was like, I gotta make this thing beautiful. I gotta like really go in here, and this is my magnum opus when it comes to Adzys mod. So I'll import it over. Sniper rifle uses custom textures. And boom. This model does not have any sort of metallic textures on it. I did all the shading myself. So I gave it the reflective of the red. I gave it little bits of yellow and green to it. Little bits of brown on the sides to really make that like shine pop out. I did it down here too, so you can kind of see where it still reflects. Gave it that yellow little twang to it. This is definitely one of my favorite models that I've done. I did custom texturing up on this. I went and did some extra custom texturing on the wood itself. The Penetrator 9000. I was thinking, I don't know how I would go about doing it, but I want to see if I can make some sort of like joke Perfect Dark demake into Goldeneye, and then I turn this into the Farsight, and it's just like a one-shot, but it takes forever to fire, and it's got like railgun properties to it. So I think that'd just be like a funny little joke mod. Check that into here. But yeah, that was the model besides the AK where I was like, ooh, this is going somewhere. Like, this is gonna be really cool. Besides reworking the M16 and the D5K, this is the weapon that I spent the most time working on. And the Magnum, import the Magnum over. There's the Ruger, open that up. It's got custom textures. So, yep, save to that. There it is, the golden Magnum with the custom red handle texture I made. I also had to make a custom reflection texture based off of the Golden Gun one, because I tried using the Golden Gun's reflective texture for it, and it just did not look good. It kind of looked like you like took a golden gun and then like swirled it around in a toilet. Did not look good. So I based the original texture from the Golden Gun, and then I gave it extra shiny like little properties to it to make it really pop out. Let's see, now we're at the Golden Gun. Also uses custom textures. I've got the Crimson Gun. This one goes hard. Now inject into this. Let's see, silver PP7. Hey, good to see you, Grim. Hope you're doing well today. If you're at work, hopefully work's not hitting you too hard. I like how cheesy this is. This is just Ooh, good to hear. I like how cheesy this is. I just was like, what if I just based the same red texturing I did on the PP7, but I put it on the silver PP7? I think it's cool. I ended up liking how like that looks. So uncheck that. And then for the golden gun, I reversed it. So instead of silver being the primary, it's red being the primary. Edit this. So that's the normal golden gun. Import model. Gold PP7. There we go. And it's just like the accents are changed. Yeah, like the Rudolph. Yeah. I didn't fully have the idea of using it similar to that, but after I made it, I was like, damn, this looks really good. I was like, no wonder they used the Rudolph, or no wonder they like did it with the Rudolph. It looks cool. Thank you, Brandon. Based. Let's see. Got the laser now. So, for example, as well, going back to how like the 1x1 textures, see how this kind of just looks like it's like hanging here? That is because these are 1x1 textures on this model. That's why most of this just cannot be seen. You can't see this piece up here. Can't see any of that up here. Can't see any of this up here. And it's an absolute pain in the ass to try to model and like shade stuff properly on here. So whenever I work on this model, I will just completely just put a random like 16x16 flat color right on it. So, because if I go in and go into no textures, boom, there it is. You can see it. That's the entire model there. The wireframe doesn't even show it. But if you do the solid wireframe, it'll appear. Make the blue shot. Oh, yes, I did. I did actually. So I'll show you. That was a fun little experience. Now that I know how to do the transparency, I can edit weapon muzzle flashes in any way I want. And I'm so excited for that. So I'm going to import the model template. Here's the laser. Import it in. It's also got custom textures. I did a lot of custom textures for this. Just for the mod, not exactly for this, but I have it red. And it doesn't appear this bright in-game. This is actually going to be something I'm going to pull out and redo now that I fully understand how to do this. This actually fires red, which is so cool. I love it. Do I still have this loaded? Let me pop this up. Let me see if I can show y'all. Let's see, rework, jungle release. So this will be off the old mod. It could be yellow, Brandon. Let me turn the music off for this. So I'll just load into here. Oops, wrong thing. I'm so used to pulling out the sniper for Adzys. Here we go. Check this out. Like, that looks so nice. It's so clean. But that was a really fun one. Cause I was like, what could I do to the Moonraker? It's like there's not much I can think of. It's already silver. It's already got the Adzys gray to it. It's like I could make these little pieces in the front red, and then I could make them fire. I was like, I really want like the the beams themselves to be red. I thought I was like that's probably like the coolest thing I could do. And then I also made the actual laser on the watch red too. So pause this again. So we're playing here. And then inject this into here. Regarding like the weapon itself, or like the like the stats for it. Essentially, it's the same exact weapon in stats and everything. Just I took I shaded this red, and then I took the beam and I extracted the beam color, edited it to be red, and then imported it back in. Oh, yeah. They're the same by default. However, if you want, you can actually go in and change it if you want. But I was like, I liked how it looked. I liked how it looked on both of them. Also, here is the watch model. It's very flat. And it has every single piece of clothing actually rendered in at the same time. They just call it out depending on what mission you're in. Like, there's that, and then there's the one under it. And it just entirely depends on what model you're currently playing as. So import this over, so it'll be the watch laser. Import this in. It's already using the original custom textures I had put in, so it doesn't need to have saved. Inject into here. Also, look how tiny the model is for the hand. They really cut corners. I'll pop this into full screen for you to see. It's impressive. They really cut corners for what they could do for Goldeneye. Essentially anything you cannot see does not appear. So like, let's say the model appears like this. Usually you never see this. Like they don't even have this here. That's how much storage and stuff they were trying to save. Like you don't see under the hand at all. So they just don't have anything under the hand available. Yeah, like it's impressive. Like and then it's baffling to me too, because there's some models that genuinely have so much stuff on it that you never get to see. And you're like, how did they like do all this for like one specific thing? Like the rocket launcher. I'm going to pop this open for you to see. The rocket launcher has so many extra details that you would never see. But like, they're just here. So what normally you see, like, I don't know, this much. It has this high res texture here. Like one of the highest res textures in the entire like weapons arsenal besides the laser. Just like you can't see it at all, but it's here. There's extra text here. And then there's also an arrow here, which is also another texture. There's this whole thing that you never see. You never see any of this. You don't see the back of this. But like the front, you don't see anything in the front, despite this being the one part that you actually see. They've got this whole nice, really cool billboarding effect where it's like, it looks like it's 3D, but it's an actual 2D texture. This is 3D, but they have it billboarded out so it makes it look like it's 3D. This is one of my favorite parts of this entire game. Like editing, I love this. This is so cool. The ingenuity is like impressive. Like, yeah, it looks, when you play it now, it looks it looks silly and it looks like it's just like flat, but like at the time this genuinely is like impressive, considering all the other weapons don't really have this, and for some reason only the rocket launcher does. But yeah, this model's so cool. Maybe someday I'll go back and do a little extra more with Adzys version. Right now it's just kind of red. So do the rocket launch. It just kind of red. But it was so cool. We're like, oh yeah. And it's also like, haha, red rocket. That was made after I made that. Oh, for sure. Oops, it skipped over to grenade. Wait. It skipped over to grenade launcher. There we go. Import. The grenade launcher didn't have too much. It's just recoloring. So I got the grenade launcher. Boom. Now it's just like a crisp silverish gray with red accents to it. So now I inject that. Put that right in there. Rocket launcher's been done. Grenades. Press the wrong button. Import model. Grenade launcher, grenade. Red. This one looks sick. I love how this looks. Too bad you don't see it in game. I did all that and then I realized that you don't see it actually in game. Mines don't need anything. The detonator, though, is also a unique model. And it's also, for some reason, in some files, called the detonator. Some of them are called the trigger. I was helping somebody out the other day trying to figure out how to add the detonator to their mod, but they couldn't find it. And I was like, let me check. And it turned out it was called the trigger. It's like, that's funny. Because only some of the files name it trigger, some of them name it detonator. Taser. Gotta change the taser boy. Interesting. I'm very ambidextrous, but I actually have like a slightly better aim with my left hand. So I always enjoy seeing whenever media has like weapons held with the left hand. A lot of Goldeneye and Perfect Dark has enemies actually hold stuff, like hold weapons in their left hand too. There's the taser. That's looking nice. Looks like a Game Boy. Injecting the ROM. That's not all of my models I need to do, but that's most of the gun ones. Pretty much, yeah. I can't remember exactly which I'm dominant on. I'm pretty sure it's like right, because like most of my stuff is done from my right hand. I can't write worth a shit with my left hand, but I can do so much stuff with my left hand. When I play like Guitar Hero, I actually have to play left-handed. I can aim and like hold stuff really well with my left hand, but I'm very much better at precision with my fingers on my right. Isn't it like you take your hand out and like you kind of like form a triangle at like an object and then look at it with both eyes and then like have one eye close and then whichever eye has it focus, like it's in like the main is like where your brain. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a really cool trick. So weird how there's just wild things like that. Like the thing that amazed me most was like when I got into doing physical therapy stuff, the amount of stuff that you learn that you can just do with your body that like shouldn't exist or like should feels like it shouldn't work that just works flawlessly is like impressive. There's the tank. There's that lad. He's looking pretty nice. I love that tank. Oops, back out of here, template. So I got that looking nice. Oops, wrong thing. Do the Jeep now. Import this over. I'm probably just going to make a new save in here just so I don't have to worry about going back out. So check that. Now this one I'm just going to name. There we go. That way I just keep track of that. So now what do I got to do? The PPK. There's the base PPK. You can see the transparency. That's where the 1x1 textures are. So import model template. Go into here. Make sure I get the right one. Dyslexia is a bitch. It'd be just easier if I search for it again. PPK. PP7 silenced. Import. There we go. I hear Silk Song was a lot of fun. I still need to beat the original Hollow Knight, but I have it. I enjoyed the time that I put into it. Let's see, which models do I have? I got the DD44, I got the sniper, shotgun, grenade, and the golden gun. Okay. So let me do golden gun. Import model template. There we go, inject. Shotgun. Import model. There we go. A little funky, but I wanna update that in the future. But also, to be fair, you never see the normal shotgun in here, so I was like, I just left it. Thank you, Brandon. Let's see, what else do I gotta import over? The DD44. T33. There we go. It was very pretty, Brandon. Sniper rifle, grenade, okay. Sniper. So there's the base looking sniper. Be kind of funny to do a playthrough, like a mod, where it's just like these are the weapons that you get, is these funky, crusty little models. So, there's the updated one I did. Search for grenades. Oops. Grenade launcher, hand grenade. There we go. Now it's red. Now I gotta do the wallet. This big old model. So import model over. That's all. Uses new textures in itself. It uses this, I think, should actually import all the smoking ones over, because it has Adzys smoking in it too. So that's all imported over. That imports over a ton of textures. So I actually don't have to worry about importing a lot of them over. So that's looking nice. That's good on that end. That's pretty much all the models that I've edited. At least to my current knowledge. It's been a hot minute since I've worked on Adzys texture pack. No guards have been edited at all. The only thing that's been edited in the shells is they're blue, which I gotta go back. Pokemon Snap with Goldeneye assets. Are you talking about like going through a Goldeneye level itself in like Pokemon Snap? I think that's an actual level. That's a mod that somebody did, if I recall. I think it's actually one of the few mods for Pokemon Snap. Yeah, it's real. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yep. Here you go. It's the exact basement level. I'm not sure if anyone's ever done like a video. I have to assume somebody's done a video on it. That'd be pretty interesting. Maybe if I complete the I've been working, I need to complete Pokemon Snap like 100% it. I wanted to do it earlier this week, but work had me a little busy, and then I had some IRL stuff I had to take care of, so I wasn't fully available this week. But this next coming week, I'm getting that whole streaming room like completely, like we're getting it like repainted, we're getting the floors cleaned, like fully cleaned, and getting a steam cleaner in here to completely just make that whole room fresh. It's gonna be so nice. I'm gonna be able to stream so much more. I'm gonna be able to do a lot more stuff. So for this should be done. I was going to here now. Let's see, object template. This should fully just work with no issues. No, for sure. Thankfully, I used to do painting when I worked at Lowe's. So, thankfully, I do have knowledge on the painting stuff. So, that's all implemented nicely. I still got to implement all the text. So, I'll show how to do that afterwards, because right now this just looks normal. Let me turn that off. Interesting. So let's say I go in, infinite ammo. Oh, the N64 controller. I gotta do the N64 controller too. So these are here. That's here looking nice. Does it clip with anything? There's no clipping in the models. Clipping looks good. I still need to get the AK. Still need to get the Uzi and the D5Ks. I missed a lot of them when I was doing that. Damn. Any clipping issues? No clipping issues. Shotguns fire normal shotgun rounds. Golden Magnums, they came out perfectly. These came out nice. I gotta go in and change the texture for the laser. These are fine. These are fine. Now when I pause, I still gotta replace the watch. So there is a handful that I still need to do. Not fully out of the water yet with that. So for right now, I'll exit out of that. Exit out of the visual editor, and I'll go back in, and I will pull the remaining models from that texture pack. So go into templates. No. Adzys rework. Jungle release. There's the shotgun shell. Import model template. No, I'm just gonna make a new folder. Name it leftovers. Drop that in here. Air open model template file. Interesting. Maybe I gotta edit that. Template.bin. Why is it being a little funky? Air opening model template file. Okay, I'll go back to that later. Let's see, what was it? The pad, joypad. There's the controller I'd made. So, oh, I'm importing. Silly me. So got that. AK. Here's the AK model. This turned out really nice. This was one of my favorite ones I first did. Export model. There we go. Uzi. Save. D5K. The D5Ks I spent so long not knowing what to do. Kind of happy with this just so I don't have to like totally deal with it anymore. These are some funky models. I think these are the most annoying models to edit in the entire game. There's so many tiny little dividends and other random shit inside these. Music time. That it was just such a pain. No matter what, these were always a pain to edit. Export that. D5K silenced. This one I ended up liking. Originally this barrel was red, but I felt there was too much red on this. And originally this was going to be reflective, but I decided against it. Export model template. Phantom. The Phantom turned out really nice. I got these little accents of silver on the irons. Like, that turned out so nice. So, export model. Save that. Go back to unreferenced gun. Shotgun shell that only the unused shotgun uses, which is kind of funny. Export that model. There we go. Now I gotta fully remember what exactly I was pointing out that... Oh, right. The watch. Is it just... I think it's a guard. There we go. Hand. There we go. That is the main hand for the menu. There's the watch menu. Here's the entirety of the entire left hand for the entire game. It's all loaded at once, but it gets called out depending on what model you're currently playing as. So export that. Hand bin. Is there any last second objects I can think of? I think that should be good on that end. Close that out just in case. Reopen the model editor. Open this up. Yeah, correct. This was kind of like their first game they made. So like they had so many ideas that other developers who were professionals that just at the time weren't thinking about that because they were so used to a formula. Where like this team was just like, oh yeah, let's just have funky little things added, like just throw in a bunch of random shit, and it just worked. So that's my current one I have. So I'll load this. So now I get to import the models. So get out of that, go down to the reworks, templates, not that, leftovers, here we go. Suit if hand, there we go, beautiful. Yeah, like not only was it like a new team, it was on essentially a new engine and like a brand new console essentially for them. So like they had to really cram in a lot of random like things. They had to like make sure that the everything could actually fit on a cartridge and shit like that at the time. And then like for Perfect Dark, they just crammed everything into that game. That game is like jam-packed with so much shit. To a point like barely any of the weapon models will actually run in Goldeneye. That's how more advanced the models and shit are in Perfect Dark compared to it. You actually have to edit down the model so it has a proper amount of like tries and shit. It's really cool to see their progress between the two games. Because Bunker 1 and Silo are the first maps they made for Goldeneye. And you can really tell because it's like it's missing a lot of features. It's missing fog. It's missing like proper like skyboxes. It's missing like so many things that the rest of the game has. So it's really cool to see that like these were the levels that they were like playtesting, and like when it was going to be like the rail shooter and stuff like that, and seeing how far they took it from there, where Chicago in Perfect Dark is actually the first level for Perfect Dark, and you can already see that they had an entire structured idea on what they wanted to do. So it's really cool seeing from like they were just winging it and hoping things would like be fun and work, to like we have a set like idea on what we want this game. So let's inject this. I'm just going to name this Adzys Footstep Texture Pack. Oops, I spelled footstep wrong. There we go. Adzys Footstep Texture Pack. I think that should be good. Okay, capitalize this. Yeah, Brandon. Okay, so now I'll go back and finish up the rest of these. So the AK. There's the normal AK model. Import the model. AK. Save this over. I agree. It's so funny too, because it's one of the one of the 4 levels in the game I think that doesn't have fog whatsoever. 'Cause it's funny because Bunker 2 has fog. It was Frigate, Silo, Bunker 1, and then oh, what's the other one? There's one more that doesn't have fog. I'm trying to remember which one it is. It's not Caverns. I don't think it's Control. That's so funny. The timing. Oh my god. I summoned the damn Control song into existence. Bunker 1's my favorite level to kind of like test. It also doesn't help that Bunker 1 is also the first level in the editor, because it's the first level made. Let's take the Uzi, import model, and this one's easy because it's just named Uzi. Indeed. Check this. The last one was actually Surface 2. They wanted an extra level to kind of like slide in there that they didn't have to do too much on. To kind of give a little bit more context on how you're suddenly in Bunker 2. Something interesting as well is they did dam, facility, and runway back to back. Most of the levels are just kind of made at random, where like those 3 levels in particular were purposely made in order. It was probably like by the time they had the groove of how to balance the difficulty, and that's probably when they were allowed to be on the set. So it makes sense for them to have it all done one after another. Yeah, exactly. See, MP5K. There we go. Yeah, so like let me actually pull this up so you can see it. What's really cool is this editor shows you essentially every single thing that was made in order. So load this up so you can see Bunker 1, Silo, Statue was made afterwards. Control, archives, train, and then you can see here the fog options go away. They didn't have it programmed in for frigate. Oh wait. Am I talking out my ass? Yeah, Surface 2 is the last level. I was looking at Bunker 2. I was like, wait a minute. So there's Bunker 2. Here's essentially the whole screen. Bunker 1, Silo Statue, Control, Archives, Train, Frigate, Bunker 2, Aztec, Streets, Depot, Complex, that's like their first multiplayer test. They were definitely doing that to kind of like test out the like the functions of the game. And that's probably when they started doing their little testing for like the multiplayer stuff. Egypt, Dam, Facility, Runway, Surface 1. Yeah. Yeah. It's really funny, isn't it? They did Jungle, and then they started doing the multiplayer maps. They did Temple, then they did Caverns, then they did the Cut Citadel map, Cradle, and then Surface 2. And then the rest of them were all the multiplayer maps that were added in very last second outside of like some of these. And then Cuba. Cuba is technically a level. It's just the end credits sequence. It's that little circular area where like Bond and Natalia are. But yeah, Surface 2 is the last map. It's kind of interesting too because Surface 2 doesn't feel like it's the last map. Like, for example, in Perfect Dark, Deep Sea Nullify Threat, that's the last level in Perfect Dark. And you can tell it's the last level because it has so much stuff in it. Like, it's the only level that has completely different objectives in every difficulty. It has teleporting, it has the largest areas, and it's got so many unique assets and functions to it. Where like Surface, it's like, oh yeah, like a little bit of like a wet fart, here you go. Surface 2 is still great, but it's like, it's so funny that it's like you wouldn't know that's the last project. It doesn't feel like they went all out for it. It feels like they had to finish their homework by like 12 a.m. So, it's definitely interesting how they had this all set up. And then with Complex, or not Complex, with Aztec as well, it's really funny because people kept saying, I can't remember if it was like people kept saying it was hard, or the dev team was like beating Aztec really easily. So they just made Aztec like ball-bustingly hard to compensate without realizing that like other people would be struggling at it. So I got Phantom now. Import the Phantom in, which is the Spectre. There we go, looking nice. Oh my god, Aztec's diabolical. I couldn't beat it as a kid. What else I got? I gotta do the joypad. There it is. There's the normal controller. It's very flat. So there's that. Import this over. Joypad. Yep. Purple. That'd be fun, Brandon. see, what else do we got? Got this done, these done. I don't think I've got the shells done, so let me... I think I got the shells done. No, I didn't. There we go. Also, by the way, I feel a little silly saying it because I know it's overused, but if you are enjoying the stream and the stuff I do, feel free to give it a like. It helps kind of like boost the algorithm to push them out more, so there can be more people that can see stuff like this. If not, no pressure. Just the fact y'all are watching is like more than enough. I just appreciate y'all for being here. I try not to ask about that stuff too often, but it's like if I'm trying to like grow a little bit, I need to at least ask like a little. Yeah, hit the notification bell. Take a steamy dumpy on that like button. But I do know it's like if it like having the likes at the very beginning can definitely help. We should add the black and white Nintendo 64 controller like the purple one. That'd be pretty good. Originally, Rocker, what I wanted to do is I wanted to have it transparent, kind of like the actual purple controller, but I couldn't get the texturing to kind of work properly because it has to go in the watch menu. So what I did, let me pull it up again. It looks funky in here, but it looks a lot better in the actual game. So let's see. Oops. Search. Joypad. So how I have this looking is I added different coloring to it to kind of make it almost look like it's got the internals. That's kind of why it's got like little bits of gray right here and like little bits of red and such like that. I even did like all the underside because originally I was just going to try to get it to look transparent, but it didn't quite work the way I had wanted it to. Also, fun fact for those who don't know, these buttons, you see it in the Goldeneye menu, but they actually have a controller that has all these buttons like called out, and they're all just like, these are actually the 3D buttons. So like if I was to go do this is essentially what it does, is it like calls out all this and has the button so you can see it when you're messing around. Like if I go into here, see all the little buttons on the side? It's really cool because they actually function when you press them and stuff. I always thought that was so cool. That was the one thing as a kid that made me sad. That was like the one thing with like Perfect Dark that I was like, man, I wish Goldeneye did that. Because Perfect Dark is kind of just like a very basic menu. It's really cool. It tells you everything you need to know. Like, it's amazing for that. But I like this because it's almost like Mario 64 level of like, you get a 3D model to play with. So that's really cool in how they do that. Like, you can see the D-pad move. So it's really accurate too. Like, you could see when it's like on the side, firing button. Like, genuinely really cool. Oops, I accidentally exit out of it. Turn that back on. There we go. But yeah, that all looks really nice. And then when you're in the editor too, for anyone who is watching that wants to do editor stuff, if you want to go into a model, then let's say you want to edit the textures or like color it in like with the vertex shading, highlight everything that you don't want to color in and press H. H as in like hide. So it's like I don't want this in. When I color this in, I can just hide these. your coloring tool will not touch it at all unless if you're in here and you have shade connected vertices. Any vertex that is connected to another one will get shaded no matter what. And then to unhide it, you hold shift and then press H. No, not shift. Hold control and press H. Oh, it's making a fool out of me. Shift and H. Okay, it's being funky. It wants me to exit out of this. Shift and H. There we go. It made me look like a fool for a second. So to hide a model, press H. To unhide a model, shift plus H. If you really want to, I don't recommend it. I was a little goober at first, and I kept messing up when I was doing the perfect dark ones. I was actually deadly hitting delete. I was like, it's like, oh yeah, I was only using it like to edit the models themselves to get like photos for, because I was learning how to do it, and I'd like press delete, not like I realized it was deleting it, but I wasn't processing. I was like, oh shit, it's actually gone. So if you actually want something gone, you can press delete. So like, boom, boneless N64 controller now. Control Z brings it back. Control Y redoes it. Yeah, I feel it. There's some games that still do kind of cool stuff, but it's not the norm anymore. It also, the difference between now and then too is the fact they were selling, like, this was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, this generation, the N64-ish generation, they were trying to teach you in the most simplistic way how 3D environments worked. Like Mario 64, the reason why Lakitu exists in Mario 64 was to give people an idea. It's like, it's not just a floating camera, you're being followed by Lakitu, you're watching in Lakitu's POV. So they did so many little things to try and like get you to understand how the 3D world worked. And I think they did a wonderful job. Like, the cool ideas they did was like so like it helped build the 3D platforming, and it helped build the understanding on how controls and like how things worked. How many more models do I have now? I got these, the shells. I think I got the Bond hand left. Yep, I got that. So now I've gotten almost all of this. So, exit out of that. I don't need that anymore. Exit out of this. Now, I gotta go into the text editor, which is a little annoying in how it's done. So, if you go into the text editor itself, you just have the defaults. If you want a specific ROMs that you want to pull out, you go into game configuration, and then you choose your ROM that you're going to pull it out. For Adzys, he doesn't have the most changed, if I recall. So I have this open, choose ROM, then I go Adzys Footstep Texture Pack. I don't do that. I go and pull the proper texture pack. My brain's fried from work, holy hell. Leftovers, Adzys Rework, Adzys Texture Pack 9.5. That's the one I want. Let this game configuration load. Minimize that. Now I can go in, text editor. Here's all the text files for the game. Pretty much anything in this game is right in here. So I'm looking for very specific ones. I'm looking for, I think it's called like menu E, and gun E, this one, multiplayer options, this one. And then this one. this actually could be changed to 9.5. I'm actually going to change that. Oh, I'm going to change that too. I'll think about it. I added that as a little Easter egg because if it tells you how long ago I was working on this, Adzys just had his kid. For now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to export all these. And you always want to do it uncompressed. They work so much better uncompressed. Go new folder. Text. Thankfully, these are already titled, so I don't have to worry. I just essentially match the files up with each other. Cradle I've changed. Let's see, where is it? Where is it? For England, James? No, for my barbecue bacon burger. Let me change that to... change some of these around. I'll definitely go through that and edit them later on. I'll export this, Cradle. These should all be the same. I think these are all the same. I also got to do menu E. Len E. Miscellaneous. Do I have to do a miscellaneous? Let me see. No, I do not. This one I've done because I did a Brandon multiplayer pack in this. And I did a little Easter eggs too. In the controls. So 1.1's Brandon, 1.3 Slop Gaming, 1.4 is Aries. There's some stuff I'm gonna like change around probably. But these were fun to have. I love doing little Easter eggs in mods. Runway. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Got the title. So most of that should be good. Exit out of this. Open back up the game configuration. Now just go into the actual mod that I'm currently doing, which would be in Leftovers. Adzys Footstep Texture Pack. There we go. So now for this, when I want to change text for this, I just go all the way back down to here. They're all named, they're all first titled with L. So then if I really want to, I could just open up this and essentially pull to the side. Oop. Do that, and then interesting. There we go. I don't know why it wasn't pulling the file up. I'll just put this on the side. Let's start with L title E, inject file. Here, text, L title E, write ROM, and I'll just put it right in here. Makes it so much easier. Next I'll do L options because it'll be right next to it. Inject file, L options, write ROM, then MP weapons. Len, so it'd be len E. And crade E. That should be it for that. So what else could I put in here? I think that's it for these. Now I'll just kind of go through and organize some of this stuff. There we go. That way it's easy to kind of just figure out which exact version that he'll be using. And I'll just name this beta. So at this point I don't need those, but keep them in there. There's all the textures, templates. Take this out. There we go, that's looking pretty good. Nice and organized. I'll just rename that so I can distinguish them better. That's looking good. Now I just gotta go in and see exactly which textures need to be replaced. Whoa, I'm hearing gunshots. What? Oh, that song had noises. It's like it's the game playing. Nice. So Adzys rework. So first, I'm gonna load into this. And I'm just going to look at everything that needs to be replaced. So I'm going to take screenshots of everything that essentially needs replaced so I can keep tabs on exactly where they get put. So I'm very forgetful. If I don't have this shit written down or remembered somewhere, I'm bound to forget it. That texture's been replaced. Nice, nice. Wait. Especially for these. Fun fact as well, the sniper rifle texture where like the not the barrel, the scope is, the lens shares the exact same texture as the cameras. So editing this texture edits the cameras too. Thank you, Brandon. So are you. Oh, right. Laser texture. I need this. This specific laser texture. Save bitmap. Textures. Save this one just in case too. That's one I could always replace too in the future. There's 2. And there's 3. And then that's all mostly like perfect there. Adzys 3D texture pack 9.5 footsteps patch. Here we go. Now it's time for me to pull up my folders. Pull out the screenshots for them so I can look at these side by side. First off, replace this texture. Oh, you're kidding me. I only saved one? Nope, there it is. That one has been replaced. Adzys had commissioned a really cool pixel artist for one of his icons. It's so cool. I had to include it in here. So something cool. I'll show you here. Here's a mistake that I had made originally. So if you see this, I have the PP7's texture replaced here. Now this affects multiple weapons in the game, so I had to work around that, just like these two. Whereas now, when I exported it from the editor and I put it back in, all those textures are put directly at the bottom. They do not conflict with any of these models whatsoever, or textures whatsoever, which is nice. So now the next textures in line will be these propaganda ones. Also, I very much made sure that none of the photos I replaced them with had any sort of reference to an actual propaganda stuff at all, besides just pure parody of like the background colors. For very obvious reasons. So the next one in line, I have the surface background. Some of these I did go in great detail to copy like the little art around them. So this is surface 2 at night. Well, obviously. There's the Adzys guard. Like that one, I referenced the same exact coloring and then like the little stuff in the background. Like for that. So I thought that was just fun. And obviously they're not going to be doing any of the poses or anything. The funny little poses. Okay, so now I'm not sure, Brandon. Maybe I'll do it sometime. Just have to see. Okay, now here's the big one. Here's everything I gotta do here. I just gotta import it over. So swap this out. This. These models may come out funky too, which I'll showcase. So right now, I should be able to go edit palette, and I have it transparent. So the black actually doesn't appear, which is beautiful. Wonderful. Edit palette, transparent. That black's transparent. Good. Perfect. This one, if I recall, has a little bit of issues, though. Yeah, you can see it right in here. So, there's the Adzys 3D logo. That's a unique texture that's not in the normal images. Interesting. The Bond is here. Bond is here. Let's take this. See, that one's still the same. There's nothing special added to that. This one's good slop. There we go. Good old Surface 1. That text goes hard. So for that, if I wanted to, I'd go in, edit the palette, make sure that's transparent, beautiful, wonderful. Everything there works perfectly. And forest here. Go, looking good, looking good. I still haven't done anything for these two. That is mostly everything. That is everything in there. What am I missing? So, I'm going to overwrite the current ROM with everything I've added in here. So that's looking good, looking good. I still got a few more textures to do though. Jar right down here. So, still gotta go in here. I'm just gonna go back, choose the ROM, get some more photos for it. Old Adzys 3D. Scroll all the way down here. What do we got to add? lasers, obviously. Take my time scrolling through this. There it is. Get a screenshot of that. That's directly under. Now I just need to get these. Perfect. Choose ROM. Bring in the texture pack. Also, anyone who may have joined in sometime recently, welcome, welcome. Just doing the little conversion of moving Adzys' original texture pack to the Footsteps patch. That way he can stream the game better with the anti-aliasing and all that fun stuff. And I was going to work on it. I'm like, you know what, I may as well stream it. Like, I'm already going to be doing this. I've been streaming doing the Goldeneye Editor stuff. I just want to show it off. I don't know, Brandon. They would probably be on a Brandon's mod then. So I've gotten mostly everything done at this point. I've got the text done. I've got the models all imported. Now I'm just doing the individual textures for some levels. And then after that, I would do the game configurations to change jungles, music, and Surface 1 sky. Other than that, I think that's mostly finished. Which, like, how long have I been doing this? I've been doing this for 2.5 hours. That's not bad. Like, considering I've been, like, yapping and I've been, like, showing off a bunch of stuff. I think it was a pretty good amount of time for essentially importing an entire mod into another patch. So now we got these. These three are the same. But these, oops. This is the barbecue bacon burger. So textures. Invalid folder for MIP maps. Oh, it's gonna do this annoying thing to me. Alright, so something really infuriating with this is sometimes, depending on the way the editor loads, it just hates having anything imported. Especially these textures. I don't know what it is up with these textures. These are the worst textures to edit in the entire game, in my opinion. They always break. There's always something they just do not like. So, I gotta go back out. Gotta go. ROM, textures, rework, texture pack. Yeah, so open that back up. Then I gotta scroll all the way back through. So there's them. Come back down to here. Now I gotta see if I can just import this over with no issues. Templates, textures. Yeah, it's still gonna be funky. So what I'll do instead is I'll just open this up. Probably change it around. Place it with a color image. Call it a day. Yeah, so I'll just completely replace it. I won't even bother. Now, what I'll do instead, because when you see it in the game, it looks really funky. I'm going to decrease it down to 16. Saves a little space, and also saves me a little bit of an issue with this. So now I just make that transparent. That won't appear in the game. It used to appear because I did not know how to make these transparent. Rec really helped me out with that. That was one of the coolest things I learned. I was like, wow. I actually have 2 versions of the barbecue bacon burger. So he really loves his barbecue bacon. Barbecue bacon. Place this. Barbecue bacon. Decrease. Decrease. Edit palette. Transparent. Edit palette. Transparent. That's all good to go. So that's the footsteps patch. I'm going to overwrite that in a second. What else do I got to do in here? Let me see. Let me see. I got to replace the laser color. So if I come down here. I'll swap that right out. So that will look perfect just like that. Do that. So I won't have to worry about any of that. That's all good. That's all good. And then last, I have the monitors. So normally there's this image. I just replace it with Australia. It's one of the biggest textures in the entire game. Now these make it that no. 1. 2. I think I actually have one of these replaced. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. So I got that. I don't think the cubes worked. So what I had instead is I had this one replaced with Graz smoking. There we go. That's looking good. What else do I got? I think that's it for the textures. Finally. So, overwrite current ROM. Perfect. Now I can exit out of this. I shouldn't have to worry about anything else in there. Now, I go into the game configuration itself. Let this load for a bit. Oh man, get a good stretch in. So I've been sitting the gamer pose for 2.5 hours. Choose the ROM. Proper texture pack. Alright, now go to surface 1, change this color to, I don't know, maybe that, and then give it a little bit of that, reduce this down, a little bit more gray. And jungle, still keep jungle with its normal, oh, and maybe I'll make it just like a little bit. And then that's normally the jungle's main theme. I will do the perimeter theme. Jungle main theme. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do the normal jungle theme for the background because that's the crickets. I just gotta find it. Jungle main theme. There we go. You know what? Maybe for fun, I'll go into Aztec. And I'll change these to like a dark red. Because I know he likes that dark red look to it. So that looks pretty good. Adzys in 3D texture pack. Should just be just about completed. There's Smokers Royale. That's all normal. Cheat options all normal. Menus are looking good. Let's go into jungle, see how that's working. Beautiful. That looks perfect. Let's check the text. Yep, there we go. Text is all here. Put this back here. Now, something funny that I just realized too is I gotta double check something. Is I think I accidentally had the text overwrite a setting that actually changes. Yep, okay. I panicked for a second. I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Am I like, did I accidentally just do this all on a separate version of the non-footsteps patch? No, this actually changes. That's actually the anti-aliasing, which I can just easily redo as a texture. So, got that looking good. Let's see how surface looks. Surface is looking pretty clean. So that should just be everything that's needed. So now that I got pretty much everything that was needed for that, um, what should I do now? What I may do is, since I have this completed and everything needed, I may call it here. As it's been 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think this was a really productive stream. Got a lot of stuff done. Um, and it was just nice chatting with everyone. So if you all enjoyed the stream, feel free to give it a like. Anything like that. Any, like, genuinely starting off, anything helps. Just sitting here watching it is like more than enough. Appreciate you for anything that you do. In the next week, I'll probably be a little bit. I'll try to get something in, but I'll be a little bit silent. I'm gonna be doing streams with Adzys, in the near future with some multiplayer stuff. And then after that, I'll have my own streaming studio all set up and nice and ready. So definitely looking forward to that. Adzys will be streaming later today. Hope y'all get to see him for that. He's gonna be doing a time attack. So, at least I think it's the time attack today. I'm pretty sure. But I appreciate y'all. I'm glad everyone who stopped by to watch. And I hope y'all have a lovely day. And bye-bye.